Bonjour everyone, and welcome back to the Waves of Your Soul. I'm your humble French tarot reader Marine, and today we're gonna be looking at some oracle decks I've been loving lately. I love talking about tarot on my channel. It's my first love, it's where I started with the cards, and it's the type of system that I use the most day to day. Over the years, I've developed a huge passion for oracle decks as well. I've been really enjoying incorporating them into my practice. They bring another layer, and so I like to come on my channel every so often to kind of give a little bit of a shout out to some oracle decks I've been enjoying lately. I think it's fun, you seem to really enjoy it. I share with you how I've been using them, the oracle decks that have been like the highlights for me in my tarot collections for the last couple of months. So that's what we're gonna be looking at today. My voice is sounding a little bit croaky. I want to apologize in advance. I know I'm sounding even more like a French frog than usual, but I've been very sick for the month of April. At the time of me filming, we're right at the beginning of May, and I'm still haven't really recovered. Elsewise, it's been difficult, so I just want to apologize if my voice is a little bit more croaky, but hopefully looking at pretty cards will make up for it. So there's gonna be, in the description box, you're gonna find all the names of the decks I'm presenting. You're gonna find, if I can remember, I'll put links where you can get them. Finally, you'll see there is also my other social media links if you want to follow me anywhere else. I'm mostly on Instagram and YouTube. Now I've done my good YouTuber intro. Let's get into my little oracle deck spotlight. Let's get into it. I am so here for this tropical background my friend Jen made me. This is such a vibe. I've got my new little crystals that I got back in March, my little Botswana agate turtle that I got for my birthday, and this beautiful piece of ocean jasper that I also got for my birthday back in March. Look at that. It looks like the ocean in a stone. It literally looks like a wave. It's ocean jasper from Madagascar, but this just looks like it's literally holding the ocean in one piece. I'm so obsessed. So cute. So I wanted to have it for us today to give us some good vibes. So let's start with a deck that's very recent. I've not even shared it on my channel yet. This is a deck I picked up at the bookshop on my way to the doctor. As we do, right? Sometimes you have to go to shitty appointments, and so to make yourself feel better, you stop at the bookshop, buy a couple of books, maybe see if there's a deck there. Just me? Okay, well, that's what happened. So this is La Sibylle des Salons by Jap de Boer, a system I've been wanting for a long time. And so at the bookshop, I realized that they had this particular version. There's a few different versions of La Sibylle des Salons, but this is a very old school particular type of divination deck, but there's a few different editions of it and a few different artists. So the one I found in my local bookshop was the one from Jap de Boer, and the publishers are Édition Très Daniel. There's another one, I think, Sibylle des Salons by Grimaud. So there's a couple of ones out there. The system is the same. I think the artwork will slightly differ a little bit depending on the editions you get. I really wanted a Sibylle des Salons, a Sibylla. I didn't really care which one I got, so when I saw that they had this one, this is the one I picked up. But honestly, all the other versions look very gorgeous. So for this one, the backs look like this. I love the backs. They're so gorgeous. They're reversible. For those of you who are unfamiliar with La Sibylle des Salons, it's, like I said, 19th century classic cartomancy French deck. It was used for fortune telling, absolutely, and so the type of messages you're gonna get are very old school French cartomancy, right? So the first card we had was Evil Woman. Straight away you are in the mood. You're being put in the mood. Evil Woman, bam. Okay, then we have Pleasures, we have Flattery, we have Death. Here we have the Military. So these are old school, classical French cartomancy vibes, which obviously don't necessarily apply to our particular way of reading the cards nowadays. But I was always very curious about this particular system, and I really enjoy this version actually because the drawings have been slightly redone in this watercolor style, so these are not the traditional drawings from this particular edition. They've kept the same scenes, but they've redrawn them and made them in their style. But I love the fact that in the background we also have the classic, again, cartomancy, like, you know, figures, so 7 of spades, etc., etc., because as I am very much a newbie when it comes to learning how to read playing cards, it helps me as well to have this additional layer. It's going to be great for learning. But here you see enemy, fight. Like, this is definitely not the type of oracle deck that's going to be self-love and all of that. It's for pure divination, and the type of divination where back in the days they would tell you, girl, you're in danger, someone is gonna rob you, you're gonna get sick. There was not any of that kind of like ethical, I will not read about illness, I will not read about that. Back in the day, there was none of those concerns. You were going to fortune telling to find out, am I gonna get rich, am I gonna get sick, am I gonna get robbed, right? And so this translates that, and so obviously you would have to, I guess, figure out how you want to approach these types of divination decks, and you can rejigger them a little bit to modern day life. But honestly, for me, the reason why I picked it up is because I was very curious at the traditional type of interpretation and meanings, because it's part of history, it's part of our, like, my culture, right, as a French person. It's a deck I've been wanting to explore, and let me tell you, this is probably the rudest, meanest, and sharpest oracle deck I've used ever. Like, I've already done quite a few readings with it for fun at first, and then it really called me out, and then it started to foretell some pretty harsh stuff, which came true, and I was like, whoa, okay, so approach with caution. I've done some readings for my mom as well for work, and literally the cards that came up were so on point and at the same time slightly spooky and scary. So I think this one is for sure approach with caution. Make sure that you really want to find out what it is you're asking. If you don't want to know, don't ask. That's what I'm gonna tell you, because it's gonna respond to you. You just might not like what it has to say. What I enjoyed about this deck as well is that for the guidebook, this particular rendition of it, so the one by Jab de Boer, it's giving you the traditional text. They've not rewritten it, they've not changed anything. This is the traditional text that was on the original publishing of like the 19th century. So again, this is old style cartomancy. So if I look at fidelity and attachment, which is the 2 of spades, no, that's the 2 of clubs. Word, it says it's a stable and loyal couple. It can represent a temptation, and it also can represent work, cooperation, and success based on confidence. And then if it's reversed, is someone is gonna cheat on you, you're gonna be disappointed, someone you love is gonna betray you. So it's like, okay, well, good. Great, love that. And then it continues to give more meanings for work and stuff like that, but it doesn't hold back, is what I mean. Pure fortune telling divination is definitely not everyone's cup of tea. For me, I was very curious. Now that I've done quite a few readings with it in a traditional way, where I've literally been pulling cards upwards or reversed and reading what this has to say, open this a little bit more intuitively, maybe adapt this a little bit more to day-to-day life, right? Because there's some cards, for example, like military and things like that, that are not as big of a theme nowadays, although you could argue that they are, than maybe they were back in the day. Or like one of the cards, for example, is city house versus like countryside house. These are themes that not necessarily apply to people nowadays, but there's still ways you could intuitively interpret it. Maybe city life is your home, and maybe country life is like where you go on holiday. Like, there's definitely ways you can interpret this intuitively. I'm still trying to like figure that out for myself. So yeah, this is definitely a unique deck in my collection. Like, I don't have a lot of those traditional classic divination decks. Like, I don't have l'Oracle de Béline, for example. And even with Lenormand, I think Lenormand is kinder to a Sibylla, but I do think there is a time and a place for a Sibylla. And like I said, in terms of divination and fortune telling, it's been crazily, spookily accurate, to the point where I've had to put it away for a bit, because I was like, okay, whoa, do I really want to know about this? So approach with caution, and yet super interesting, super fascinating, and I'm excited to like continue to get to know it better. There's definitely a few Sibyllas out there, and they all, I think, pretty much come from the 19th century. So if you guys use this particular system, let me know if you enjoy it, how you use it, the Sibylla you like. I feel a particular type of divination deck that is not talked about a lot, potentially because some of the cards are so like from that time period that it might be harder to apply to nowadays, and yet I still think they're super interesting and fascinating. So if there's any Sibylla users out there, let me know in the comments so we can have a chat. Let's continue. Obviously another Oracle deck. This is all about Oracle decks with another divination deck I've been really enjoying lately. It's an indie deck by a French creator, and it has over 100 cards, which we love to see. So this is called l'Oracle Watt. It doesn't come with a box. When you purchase the deck, it comes, I think, in a little pouch, and you get a little guidebook. This is what it's called, l'Oracle d'Isawat. The artist is called Isawat, and it's a French indie deck, like I said, and I believe that it was 20 or 25 euro for over 100 cards for an indie deck. Unheard of. Like, we love to see it. Definitely one of the most affordable indie decks I've seen recently, especially for the amounts of cards there is. I mean, look at this chunky beast. We love to see it. Here are the backs, and it's a heart because originally this is designed to be a love deck, a divination deck for love. So it's meant for relationships of all types, family, friendships, love, interpersonal relationships in every way. This is meant to do some divination / fortune telling about that. However, I've been using it constantly for the month of April, and I'm continuing to use it in May for just looking at the energies in general. Like, I've decided to kind of veer away from the interpersonal aspect of it and just use it for divination at large, because it's so intuitive that it's actually really great for divination at large and not just for personal relationships. Like, to look at week ahead, month ahead, things like that. I've done 3 card readings for my friends, like how is their job interview is gonna go. Someone was going on holiday, they asked me to do a quick 3 card spread, or they asked me to look at what's going on at work, and I did like a 4 or 5 cards, getting an idea of what's going on, the energies, the vibes. And it's very, very accurate. Again, there's a lot of cards, and they are very like intuitive. Like, what you see on the cards is pretty much what you get. So here we have boxes, here we have manifestation, here we have the frame, the wall. So even though it's in French, I think even if you don't speak French, you'd be totally fine using it, because the keyword on the card is what is on the card. So the wall, and it says the wall. This is the sparrow, and it says the sparrow. Here's the risk. Again, it speaks for itself. The snail, and you could attach it to slowness, things being delayed, or maybe it's an advice to take your time. It's gonna depend on context, how you read it. It's gonna depend on your intuition, on your style of reading. But personally, I have found this is so great for, like I was saying, looking at energies at large and not just necessarily for relationships. The guidebook is in French, obviously, and the way the guidebook is written is very like tailored towards relationships. So honestly, I've read it once, but I've not been like going off of it for my own readings. But I absolutely adore the artwork. I think it's gorgeous. I am having a real moment with this naive art style, childlike art style, and I really don't mean that in any derogatory way. I mean that in the best way possible. I'm really having a moment with this particular type of art style lately. I find it very, I don't know, it's like a nice change from everything very digitalized and computerized. I'm having a moment going back to basics of people drawing with pens, and it feels nice. I really enjoy this particular artist. I actually ordered as well her tarot deck, which I won't share here because we're talking about Oracle, but the tarot deck is also fantastic. It's a joy, so I wanted to shout it out. Prepare to see it definitely in my future picker cards. Loving this so much that I want to also use it for you guys. So that's l'Oracle d'Isawat, and of course I leave the link to where you can get this down below, so you can go and support the artist if you wish to. Another Oracle deck I've been loving lately, we're we're going on a complete different theme. So we've had traditional French cartomancy, we had a more modern fortune-telling deck, and now let's move on to something very different. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is a deck I've had for, oh my god, maybe 5 years now. This is the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn. I love Denise Linn's decks. I have her Sacred Voyager deck. I love it. I think there's another one that she came out with that I don't have that I really want. Overall, as a mass market creator of decks, I just really like what she does. So I've been meaning to pick her other decks actually, because this one is probably one of my favorite Oracle decks ever. Like I said, I've had it for years and I still continue to come to it, and for me it's still one of the best mass market out there. Like if you're a beginner, you want to get your first deck and you want an Oracle deck specifically for more guidance, not necessarily tailored around fortune telling, but more something around messages of empowerment, messages of support, clarifying a tarot reading, maybe giving messages from your guides, something that's going to be quite gentle and more in the self-development, self-work type of vibes, but still with very gorgeous artwork, expensive keywords, and a great guidebook. This has it all. Honestly, to me, one of the best, like I said, Oracle decks on the market for mass market. It's just so good, and I continue to go back to it after all these years because it is just unmatched for me. I love the artwork. I find it so calming and soothing. It's mostly landscapes. We have a couple of people, but a lot of mostly landscapes, some animals. It feels very expensive. It feels very soothing. It feels like the kind of images you can just look at for meditation, for taking a pause in your day. I also absolutely adore the keywords. There's a good mix, and so that allows us to use this deck in a myriad of ways. Like I said, I love using this for clarifying my tarot readings. I love using this for a daily card pull, like a little message from my guides. I love to use this for pulling 3 oracle cards, and then below I'll pull 3 tarot cards to cover it, so almost as a way to create a spread. This one feels like a good friend to me, and lately I've been putting it back out, mostly because I've been, like I said, super sick. I know what being sick feels like, because like I said, I navigate the waters of chronic illness. I'm always like at least 50% less than what a normal person feels like. But the last few weeks have been especially difficult. I've been on 2% every day because, like I said, getting normal people sick on top of chronic illness, it really can fuck you up. It can like create flares up. It can make your regular symptoms worse on top of the symptoms from whatever illness you're getting. You take longer to recover than a normal person. You can get other shit on top of it. It's just a lot. This has been a good friend to go to because it's a deck, like I said, I've had for years and I know it well inside out, and so it feels like a friend I can rely on. It feels like it's the kind of deck that's gonna see me where I'm at. It's the one that I can use with guidebook, without guidebook. I actually really have been enjoying it, using it with the guidebook lately, because it was giving me kind of like little kind messages. Look how dirty. Wow, I'm so embarrassed. Those edges look disgusting. Guys, if you unsubscribe right now, I wouldn't even be mad. Because look at that. That's so gross. I need to etch that. Wow, I'm embarrassed. Not me showing you my dirty edges on the internet. Okay, even the guidebook, it's so gross and yellow. Like, this is loved, okay? This has been used. This has been loved. And like I was saying, I've been enjoying using this with the guidebook. Look at that. Oh my god. This is embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. I'm getting cancelled right now. Okay, moving on. Let's pick a page that hasn't got any stains on it. The guidebook is fantastic. You get an explanation of what's on the card, like why they decided to picture this card this way, why there's this particular animal or scenery and stuff. And you have the sacred landscape wants you to know, and it's like, this is where your guidance is, this is where your message is. So I love this one. It's one I will always go back to. I'll never get rid of it. It's definitely in my top 10 Oracle decks of all time, and it's one that I've been really picking up again lately to help me get through this harder phase. I've just realized I've done mass market, indie, mass market, back to indie. I didn't do that on purpose, but we can pretend I did. This is the Iris Oracle by, I forgot the creator's name. This is by Spirit Speak, that's the name of their company. And oh my god, you guys, I've been wanting this deck for years, literally years of me like lusting after it. It's been on my wish list for so long. I really always knew that I would vibe with this particular deck, but it was so difficult for me to ship to where I live. Like, it was just, I couldn't find anywhere that stocked it until I realized that the lovely Cassandra from A Riffle in Time, who owns a indie deck tarot shop, I will leave the link to her shop down below. I noticed she had a few Spirit Speak decks, and so for my birthday I ordered a couple of them. I've done a haul if you want to see the decks I got for my birthday, and this was one of them, and I'm so happy. So quick look at the guidebook. It's black and white, and you get about a page for each of the messages. This is a very popular deck, I think, in the tarot community. I know a lot of people love it and swear by it, and honestly for good reasons, because this is just so powerful, and this has quickly become one of my favorite oracle decks. It hasn't disappointed. I had huge expectations because every time I was seeing people show this deck, I knew I would like it. That's why I'd been lusting after it for so long. But to finally have it in my hands and to give this a try and to read the guidebook for myself and to use it intuitively and to kind of incorporate it into my practice, wow, I'm really not disappointed. This has been extremely moving, extremely transformative, extremely powerful. This is a fantastic deck for, I would say, healing, self-development, shadow work. Here we're looking at deeper parts of ourselves, looking at our wounds, and it's definitely unique in the type of keywords it's going to give you, like suppression of a star being by hands unworthy. Wow, so deep, so powerful. Protect your heart. Like, here we're not looking at key words that are very, not basic, but you know, general, like the sacred destiny. This is a lot more specific. It's more key phrases. Obviously the artwork is also very unique. We have this, like, again, I told you I'm having a moment with this childlike, naive art style. Again, I don't mean that derogatory at all. For me, it's really appealing right now, this hand-drawn style. I'm loving it. And I love the key phrases. I love how unique it is. There's 78 cards, which is another thing I love. I mean, I love decks with lots of cards, you know that about me by now. And this has just been as transformative and healing as I expected it to be. So I would say, if I had to give, for those of you who have the Reclaim, for example, it's similar vibes. Let me think. The Poesis Oracle, also similar vibe, in the same lens of, this is gonna be tugging at your heartstring. This is gonna be looking at your wounds. It's gonna make you feel seen, maybe make you feel a little bit emotional. You can't find goodness because you lost your heart. Yeah. So this is truly very special. I'm very, very grateful I finally own it. I'm very grateful for the guidance it's brought me already, and I completely understand why it's such a celebrated deck in the community, because this is truly a beautiful piece of work. No one is yours but you. Just gorgeous. This is really great for more psychological readings, you know, where we're going to be looking at our psyche, our subconscious, maybe our shadow, things like that. So the Iris Oracle completely has blown me away. It's called me out quite a few times already. It's made me cry a few times already. It's also supported and helped me out a few times already. It's just very deep and profound. And also the messages in the guidebook are great. Like, just to give you an example, we'll pull one at random. Let's see the Heart Eater, for example. It says, yikes, I know we can't be too excited about running into this character, but it's possible that this Heart Eater is misunderstood. She's not here to eat your heart, she eats her own. In a fit, she knows not what she does. She gets in such a state of uncomfortable feelings and confusion that she destroys her own heart. Let's take a moment to learn a lesson from her. She was so overwhelmed by her feelings of anxiety, discomfort, loneliness, and undirected energy that she turned her rage on herself. Let us all be nice to ourselves and our heart when we are feeling like our emotions are caving in on us. Our heart are powerful and can send their energy healing through our whole body body, including your mind. Talk to your heart today, out loud or not, and say 3 nice things to it. I'm so happy, you guys. I'm so happy because this is a deck, like I said, I wanted for so long and it didn't disappoint. And sometimes when I want a deck for years and I end up getting it, it doesn't necessarily match the expectation, but this has exceeded it. So I'm just overall so pleased. So happy, and I wanted absolutely to shout this deck out because it's gorgeous. 2 more oracle decks I want to talk about today in my oracle deck spotlight, sharing with you the oracle decks I've been loving lately. Let's move on to another French indie deck that I've had for years that I've been reusing lately. It's kind of like one of those that I've had for ages that I forgot I had, and like the month of April I rediscovered it in my collection and I was like, wait a minute, why haven't I been using this lately? Like, this is so good, it needs to come out. So if you watched my May 2024 reading, pick a card reading, I do a pick a card reading monthly, I used this deck in it and it was so great. And so this is kind of what spurred my reusing of it and bringing this out. So this is by a indie French creator that I really love. I will leave the link to her website down below. This is called L'Oracle d'Or et d'Encre by Émilie de Dieu, and I have a couple of decks from hers, and she recently did a tarot deck, so I pre-ordered that along with another oracle deck I wanted from her about fairy tales. So whenever that comes, I'll make sure to introduce them to you on my channel. And so it doesn't come with a guidebook, but it comes with presentation cards, it comes with keywords on the cards, and it comes with some examples of spreads that you can do, which is great. So even though there's no guidebook, there's lots of information on these little cards. And then you have 57 illustrated cards. So the backs look like this. And again, this is a French creation, so obviously everything is in French, but honestly, for me, images are very intuitive. So I believe that even though you're not French speaker, you could easily translate the keywords, write them maybe even on the cards in English, and just read that intuitively. Because there is no guidebook, I always read mine intuitively anyway, and I believe that the images kind of speak for themselves. Like, this is the solution, you're being given a set of keys. We have health with all the potions here, apothecary vibes. We have a learning with a calf learning from the whale mother. I absolutely adore this particular artist style. I think it's so enchanting. Everything is hand-drawn. This is not AI or anything. It's all hand-drawn. And it's called L'Oracle d'Or et d'Encre because it was made with ink, and also there's a lot of gold accents on each of the cards, as you can see, which looks super beautiful. So I absolutely adore her art style. This is definitely a deck that is great for everything. For me, it's one of those Swiss pocket knife decks that you can do everything with. You can do predictions, you can look at the vibes, you can look at guidance, you can look at messages from the universe, you can look at the week ahead, you can ask questions for work, for relationships, you can ask for something to journal about, anything you want. This is those type of very versatile types of decks because of the variety of cards, the type of keywords. Here we have protection, healing. I think that you could use this with pretty much everything you want, pretty much tarot size. It looks so great with so many tarot decks. As a clarifier, it's wonderful. Like I said, if you want to see it in action, you can watch my May 2024 reading. I used it for looking at the energies of the month, and it spoke so well. Here we have sacrifice. So there's not just easy cards, there's also harder cards, which makes this deck super balanced, which I appreciate. I'm so glad I found it again and decided to pick it back up again because I've been having such a good time for it. There's also a man and woman card, I think, somewhere. I don't know if we've passed it, but if you want to use for there you go, man and woman. So if you like to have a card for your consultant, and whenever I get the new decks I ordered from her, I make sure to share with you. Okay, the last deck I wanted to share with you is also very new to my collection. I've not had it that long, maybe a couple of weeks. It's a deck I had pre-ordered, when was it? December 2023 or January 2024, and it took quite a few months to come to me because it came from America. This is the Rainbow Brain Skull Oracle by Ramina Razor. So Ramina Razor is an artist that I follow on Instagram. I love their work. This is what the box looks like. They have a very distinct art style, which if you follow me on Instagram, you see me reshare their stuff on my stories all the time. And so they're originally more of a digital artist, but then at the end of last year, they sent a newsletter, announced that they were doing an Oracle deck and that they had open pre-orders. And so obviously I pre-ordered it because I love their stuff. So like I said, it took a few months to come. I don't know if this is still available indie because I've seen it on Amazon, and so but it's not out yet. So I don't know if it's being picked up mass market, if it's still available indie on the creator's website. I honestly am not sure. I will leave the creator's website in the description box. I'm super glad I got my hands on this particular edition, and I'm super glad I pre-ordered it because the cardstock feels really nice. It feels matte, it feels really good quality. It's this beautiful like hollow edging. We love it, and the backs look like this. I'm not normally a huge fan of writing on my cards, but I will say at least it's small enough that I can forgive it. But honestly, if it was just the skull, I would have been very happy with that. It's just personal preferences, but I really don't enjoy writing on the backs of my decks. So this particular artist, as I was mentioning, has a very unique art style. It's almost video game-like, that's what it makes me think of. And the idea behind this deck is very, I think, related to creativity, helping you to get outside your comfort zone, pushing you to look at the life in general as a game. What character do you want to play today? Think about your creativity, your intentions, your manifestations, and it's very much tailored around a vision of the world, which I very much agree with, which is the fact that we're multi-dimensional being, that we have a lot of agency over what we focus or don't focus on. And so this is almost a little kick up the butt. Every time you're stuck in a rut, you feel in a creative rut, or you feel a little bit meh, this acts as a kick up the butt to help you kind of re-put you back on the path. So for example, I'll never be perfect, so I leave it blank and let the earth slowly consume me. Jumping is scary, staying frozen is scarier. It's so simple, right? That type of message. It's simple, and yet sometimes it's exactly what you need to hear. Because yes, jumping is scary, taking a leap of faith is scary, but staying frozen will end up being scarier because you'll just get stuck in this loop of like, what if, what if, what if? Whereas if you actually do the thing, you won't have to ask yourself what if anymore. The more you create, the more the universe is. So good. If no you out there, get out there. Like, this is super quirky. It definitely has its own style, its own vibe, but I just resonate with it so much. I think it's so clever, so smart, and yet just simple but effective. I love the artwork. I'm just really big fangirl of this particular artist. For example, what are the things you care about? It ain't always gonna be dirt. Again, simple, but sometimes I really need the reminder. It's your own responsibility to expand instead of just contracting. Absolutely. You get to control so many atoms. This is honestly a constant reminder that I'm more powerful and more able than I give myself credit to. We all are. And so, especially lately, because like I said, I've been very sick. This actually arrived in perfect timing because it arrived when I was super sick, really going through it physically. And so this arrived in perfect timing because it gave me a lot of little boosts, right, in my day, helped me like to look at the bright side of things. And so I've really been enjoying pulling one card from this one, just like a daily guidance, little daily card pull. Don't do everything, do the next thing. Yeah, it makes things a little bit less scary if you take it one step at a time. Throw stuff at walls, see what sticks. If nothing sticks, hang out in the pile. It's super fun, but it's also very cheerful. I think this is absolutely a good mood deck for me. It's definitely a 2024 good mood deck. The guidebook is great. The one thing I will say is that it's not numbered. The cards are not numbered and it's not in alphabetical order, so finding your message is a pain. We don't love that. I might end up numbering my card just to make my life easier, because it's pissing me off to have to look at it. just you know, I'm an impatient Aries. Here, for example, good, just been looking at screens a lot. It says you may need to take a break from computers, go find a tree to be friends with. Besides, think of how fun it will be to return to the screen once you've had some time to rebuild your tolerance. Very cheeky, but like I said, fun, encouraging, supportive day-to-day messages. It's no nonsense, and yet sometimes it's exactly what I need to hear. So this is definitely a good mood deck. I've enjoyed putting daily cards on it. There is an app I meant to tell you. There is an app, I've actually downloaded it. I think it's like $3 or $5, $3 or $5. I was enjoying it so much I got the app so I could have it on my phone. And so I've been enjoying using it there too. So if you can't find the deck, because I don't know if it's out or what's the story, or if you just want to give it a chance before you commit to buying the physical product, you can get the app. It's great. It's a fun way to get to know the cards, and I've enjoyed using this on the app as well. Just that is good mood. Rainbow, I mean, come on. Hey my friends, so this is it. These were all the oracle decks I've been enjoying lately. Some I've had for ages, some are new to my collection, some for divination, some for daily support, some for healing. There's definitely a bit of everything because my practice does involve a lot of different things, so I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Now I'm asking you, what are your current favorite oracle decks? What are the oracle decks you've been enjoying in the last few months? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, I invite you to leave it a thumbs up. It's a small gesture, but it does really help my channel to grow. Actually, lately, this year, YouTube is particularly hard. The algorithm and stuff has changed. So literally even a thumbs up can make a huge difference in a creator's journey, and so I appreciate all of you who take the time to do that. And until my next video, I just want to send you so much good vibes and keep navigating the webs of your soul. Bye!